So, hello everyone and welcome to the last Advent Calendar episode, which means Merry Christmas to everyone. However, my choice of game might be a little bit of a weird one, but hey. On the other hand, I don't have too many choices other than maybe introducing some different type of a game that I've played a little bit and just doing a little skip of it. So I tried to search for highly rated short games, and this happened to be one of them, even if it is bad ending. But I guess the goal of the game is to try to get a good ending in the one that there's going to be a lot of bad endings. I assumed, at least from the way it was said. I probably can't be finding the good ending in this recording session though, considering like multiple different endings, etc. That's basically what I read. That there's multiple different endings, we have a few different characters we can play as, and they in some way interact with each others. Which I'm not quite certain how they do it, and there's going to be a lot of bad endings. Which might not be very Christmassy, but on the other hand, at least it should be interesting, right? So let's just go in and see where this bad end theater will take us. So, enter. Enter we shall to this theater. Welcome to Bad End Theater. On this stage, we shall be toying with fate. You will make many choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. Sure, let's be the devil doll. Demon doll. You control the demon doll, you're a fierce-looking guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? Wicked. Attack it or play nice. Sure, let's attack it, we're a demon after all. At least in this game. You killed a human doll in cold blood? How ruthless. You found your very first bad ending, but don't worry, the story need not end here. Let's reset the stage and try again. This time try controlling the other doll. You control the human doll, you are a friendly little guy just minding your own business. How will you interact with the demon doll? Let's try to play nice. You're just a human. You try to be friends this time, but the demon attacks and kills you. This is all because you chose to attack in the first round. Are the mechanics becoming clear? So because the other one was... Maybe if they both were playing nice, it could have been a good ending. I don't know. Maybe still not. Now that you know how the story goes, you can set the doll's behavior in advance. As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to what you chose during your last playthrough. But now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from that doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now try turning the doll's behavior on and off to see the different outcomes. You don't have to be wicked. You control the human doll, you're a friendly little guy. And how will we interact? Just play nice, and then we can be friends, because no more a wicked demon. You and the demon doll are able to set aside your differences and become friends. End the tutorial. I'm done. I think we understand well enough. This is indeed a theater with a lot of possible bad endings. Do you understand how to play? I think I do. Yeah, I get it. I think. This game saves your progress automatically, or at least I get it enough for today, for Christmas. This game saves your progress automatically, just relax and collect all the bad endings at your own pace. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. So who do we want to be? They're all locked. Let's be the hero first. You are the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary aside from the occasional heroic adventures fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You are told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon's overlord's castle. Who even puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out? You don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople though, you were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. Dutiful. Yet bravely slaughter the evil creatures. They are the ones that are evil and are on the way after all. You make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. I guess we can try to be dutiful and diplomatic, so ask if they'll let you in. You attempt to explain why you've come, but the monster before you is eyeing you with suspicion. They can't help but notice the demon plot from earlier you haven't had the chance to wash off yet. Whoops. You have no choice but to fight the army in self-defense. Oh well, more experience points for you. At least we tried to be diplomatic. You make your way through the castle, fending off the demons that stand in your way. The Overlord appears, demanding to know what hell you're doing murdering all her soldiers. You get straight to the point and ask her where the maiden is. She feigns ignorance, a convincing act, but you won't be fooled. If the maiden isn't here, then what happened to her? You can see only one answer. The Overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible she's already been devoured. Thinking about that poor maiden's fate fills you with hatred. You fight the Overlord with everything you've got. You've become strong from the hordes of demons you took down before this final battle. The Overlord is almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces. The Overlord has fallen. You breathe a sigh of relief, but your job is not yet finished. You search the castle. Unfortunately, you find no sign of the maiden within its walls. It's just as you suspected, she must have already been devoured. You feel hollow. A great evil has been banished from this world, but what does that matter if you were too weak to save someone? You stand alone amidst the carnage and ponder what it means to be a hero. You return to the Overlord's remains and wrap her head in your cape to bring back to the village. Surely your great victory will be celebrated. Failed hero end. At least he tried. So reset the stage. Let's see what the Overlord is doing. You are the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think? Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's even a role called hero whose full purpose in life is just to dethrone you. What's their deal anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the full Overlord thing if you are being quite honest with yourself. You don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil Overlord they expect. You think you are pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to the higher standards like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they are whining about it kind of bothers you. What to do with this underling? Grant them a day off. Let's be nice. We were saying after all just a moment ago that we are supposed to not be the evil tyrant that everyone thinks. You tell them to take a break from stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. A day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you and happily scurry off to do who knows what. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a little while. Being the Overlord sure is great. So great. You awake to a huge commotion outside. A hero has shown up and started totally murdering a soldier. What the hell, guy? You rush out into the battlefield to confront this jerkwart. You curse at him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you return the maiden you are holding captive. You don't know what he's talking about, but you can't forgive his actions. You do battle with the hero, but he has grown strong from cutting down your army. You are unable to defeat him. With decisive swings, he stabs and cuts you to pieces. Even though we were trying to be nice, you fall. You have failed your subjects. You spit curses weakly. You wish you'd been stronger. Maybe you were never suited to be the Overlord in the first place. The truth was, you were never that much more powerful than the demons who served you. It was the title, the control that gave you strength. These are your thoughts as you are swallowed by darkness. Conquered Overlord End. Well, that's not the best. Not the tyrant. We can unlock or put into being a tyrant, but we are not at the moment anyway. Let's see what the maiden is doing. Where are you then when you apparently are not in the Overlord's castle? You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon Overlord's castle. You are told that you are fated to be captured by the Overlord one day because you are a beautiful young girl. Demon Overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity. Who knows? You are in a church. You pray to your god, asking why you have been born into this role of a maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you are really just curious as to what the point of it is. You are impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forward to find a demon, just to, see what happens. Not long into your little adventure, demon underling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. Let's be polite. Introduce yourself. After all, we were supposed to be captured and all. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. The demon suddenly jumps you and starts biting. A lot. How painful. This plan of yours was completely stupid, you think? Why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You aren't angry or anything, of course. This was all your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you are swallowed by the demon until you are no more. Okay, just by the underling. Immediately eaten. Sure. So, polite maiden, dutiful hero, not a tyrant overlord. And what are you, underling? You are a demon underling, in service of the overlord. You aren't particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the overlord for a day off. She's surprisingly cool with it. Nice! You set out on your adventure outside the castle. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She greets you and says she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. Well, that's that's what we would have done just a moment ago, but let's hear her out. You are in a good mood today and are rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it would be interesting, besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. They seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide it's about time for a nap. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sound of battle. You emerge from your room to find that the hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk! Avenge your fallen comrades, we will just die in that process. I know that, but you save yourself. You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad to not be in their shoes. You also feel guilty to be thinking that as you flee the castle, until you remember your role, not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life, far away from any humans or demons, where you'll live peacefully alone in some deep dark forest somewhere. Deserted underling. So, not a hungry, not a tyrant, and these are, well, she's polite, he's not diplomatic. Maybe if he was diplomatic we could be having a little bit of a better time with it. Let's see. Yes, we are indeed the swell guy. And maiden has been taken captive, so to speak. Yeah. Happy though, very happy. We go and rescue, go on. Let's try out if we still do the same thing as we did before, when now everything else has been set, the stage for other stuff. We try to be diplomatic. I know it doesn't work, but we make it through. You find the maiden being held captive by the Overlord just as you suspected, but for some reason you can't sense anything sinister happening. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ask the maiden what's going on. She explains that she came here on her own and was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks why you are covered in blood. You don't know how to respond. The Overlord moves past you and out the door. To see her army in lifeless, bloody piles. She's wailing. It's horrible. This is your chance, hero. That just would seem like a very bad thing. This is all just a big misunderstanding. You hope she'll let this whole thing slide if you could just explain yourself. You really try, but the Overlord is inconsolable. She tears you apart, and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think you probably deserved this. Well, in a sense of, we actually kind of did kill the other ones. Can we kill her? I want to know now, can we actually kill her if we try at that point? Because I want to try out the path nonetheless that we set out first. Because yeah, I think that is fun to look at. Well, let's ask the maiden first. She won't be probably very happy though when we attack this Overlord now, but we have to. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil Overlord. She screams, then falls silent. The Overlord has been slain. You smile, offering the maiden your hand. She takes it. After slight hesitation, she must be surprised at how strong you are, totally. You escort the maiden home. She's oddly quiet on the trek back to the village. She must be too shy to speak. The villagers are very pleased with what a good job you've done slaying the Overlord and saving the hostages. They throw a huge celebration in your name. I don't think the maiden will be. I doubt that she will play all alone this full time, but we'll see, I guess. You're remembered for generations as the greatest hero the village has ever seen. Well, I guess she was just fine with it then. She just came along just like that? What if we had all of these on? Well, but she would be defeated without. So let's try her path, and she's a tyrant. So yes, but we won't be giving that day off, because then the underling can't even go and meet the maiden, because he won't be having a day off. So let's test that out. Tell them to get back to work. You give them a lecture about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they're told, whether they like it or not. They look really unhappy with you, but you're sure they'll thank you for this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death. You dismiss the underling and lie down in your nice and comfy overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. You fall asleep pretty quick, just another one of your amazing talents as the overlord. You awake to a huge commotion outside. A hero has shown up. What the hell guy, though? Indeed, you rush out into the battlefield to confront this jerkwart. You curse at him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you return the maiden you're holding captive. And we don't know what he's talking about. Okay, so basically nothing changes if we would do it like this. Well, what if we do have the way it was before, as in this guy just, like, this is all true to the hero, but then we would beat a tyrant, so I guess we shouldn't be. Let's see what happens if we do get the maiden, like, from at least her angle for it. Because if we give the free day, then there should be the maiden brought into here. So that should be interesting enough. You awake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, should she's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maidenly-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk. Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside and she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. This will just end up, after all, into the situation where the hero will come and try to save and all that. Tell her she'd better go home. We don't fit together. You'd love to have all the conversations in the world with your new friend, but having a human girl here will definitely cause trouble. You put on your mean face and tell her to get lost, but the maiden turns out to be very stubborn. You don't want to hurt her, but you also don't really want her to leave in case something bad happens. This whole situation is just asking for trouble, you think. Against your better judgment, you let her hang out for a little while longer. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You are glad that she seems to have an open mind about this kind of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why the people of my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We are very grateful. You are surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this full time and that you were actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You notice the sound of battle have started ringing through your castle halls. The maiden is getting nervous, but you reassure her it's only your underlings roughhousing, no big deal. You know it's probably a hero, but you don't want to upset the maiden by telling her that your army will take care of it. And yeah, it isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? The hero just stands there unsure of himself. He is covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him, trying to explain the situation, you move past the hero and out the door. Yeah, this is exactly from like her perspective rather than his. You are not thinking clearly. Seeing your servants' bodies in pieces all strewn about your castle has really taken out of you. That hero did this. There's so much blood. Why? Did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed dress queen? There was no one for this hero to save here. There was never any harm meant to anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? You feel a sudden sharp pain through your back. You look down to see a blade protruding from your chest. Ah, that was careless of you. So this is how you die. Stabbed in the back by some cowardly hero. Indeed. What a joke. You're supposed to be a ruthless one. That's right, humans can't be trusted, not if this is what they're capable of. You should have remembered that before letting one in. You watch as the hero takes the maiden's hand, leading her through the sea of corpses he'd left in his wake. Captured by a demon, at least she got what she came here for. You join your army in eternal slumber. Ah, poor Overlord. Poor Overlord. Very antisocial. Sure, let's try from the hero's angle now. And flee like a coward, for a change. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now, your reputation will be ruined. You wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You'll take your chances at the castle. You're a hero after all, this is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord, so let's try to be diplomatic now. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. They stare you down and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. That was easy. The Overlord and the maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. And now suddenly destroy. Ask the maiden what's going on. The maiden explains that she was never actually captured and that she came here on her own volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you, to reassure everyone of her safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You try to make conversation with the maiden, but she's been pretty quiet since leaving the Overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask what the deal is. Oh, the Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. Why? You can't help but feel relieved you got the maiden out of there when you did, but she suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in, and you follow to try to stop her. The smoke is so thick you've already lost sight of her. What is she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the village and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. That's a strange bystander hero NP. Interesting. What if you were heroic and diplomatic, then you would just get killed? Well, if you're not an antisocial, then what? Let's go and see from the underling's perspective, because his story should be relatively short in all honesty. So he gets the free day, goes and meets the polite little lady and take her to the boss. And then what? Take it time for the nap indeed. Yeah, you don't get to sleep long, your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a full revolution, and they're gonna get rid of the current overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or out, and being a pretty lazy underling, you of course reply with, "That sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead?" Your friends question your loyalty to the cause. It's actually not so bad, you guys, you know. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you, but before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the Overlord really has no place in our castle, you understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother to struggle. You're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. This is a pretty messed up thing to do to a friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. So, a vengeful underling indeed would just die in that state. That's funny though. Then can have that sort of situation. What if she's not polite? Let's see at least this part. You're a maiden, you live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon castle. And we have a destiny to be captured. Shout for a hero to come save you. You yell, but the hero does not come. The demon is put off by your sudden shouting and asks you to keep it down. You apologize. They seem more confused and hostile, which totally catches you off guard. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden. Take us already into the castle. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. And then we are introduced to the Overlord. It turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens, or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it still. It doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that the demons would one day seek you out, and something awful would happen. Then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the Overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. This Overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The Overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little you realize they might not be ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commanded her demons to avoid towns and villages. No need for risks. And yeah, there's no stories of them attacking us. Express our gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of the village. You can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seems the Overlord could say the same of humans. You may be different, but really they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if it turned out to be a super evil all along? If I would turn out. Even if she were to capture you now, you'd think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. As you think that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first, until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The hero expresses his relief that this full misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez! The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. You are about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. Unable to shake your concern, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks. The castle is engulfed in flames. Is the overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this. You have to know. You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the overlord isn't among them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach the overlord's room, but the door is shut tight, and the handle is too hot to touch. You are too weak to force it open. You pound your fists against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you'd forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. The smoke is too thick. You can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't got much time left now. You desperately head towards the stairs to save yourself, but the fire spreads faster than you expected. You won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke! A maiden saving the overlord. If you just stayed true to your role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the kind of punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotten souls. Selfless maiden and B. Definitely a lot of different endings we've seen already at this point. These two definitely have the least of these possible solutions. Can we have all of these? I guess we can have all of them, but... it has the explanation. Slaughters all the demons, tries to kill the overlord, and prefers not to solve things through violence. What about if we have dutiful and diplomatic? Because we couldn't have diplomatic before at all. Then have a polite, disloyal, antisocial. And then we go with the hero. So we are nonetheless going to be brave. Then we'll try to be diplomatic. I know it fails, but... What's going on? Will it just immediately end here again, just like before? Yeah. Like, I guess those just can't be at the same time. Like, I guess these can't be at the same time. I don't know how that ends. But I guess we can see about that. Let's see from the Underland's perspective then, though, if we go to the disloyal path. And, yeah, hear her out, take her there, that's fine. Then we have to be disloyal. Because there's no other choice. Okay, let's kill the overlord then, if you must. You tell them you were just joking and clarify that you're totally in it to win it. They say that you were always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the overlord, you know how bad it'd be to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of false confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're curious if they have any idea how they want to go about this. They figured they'd just lock her in a room and set it on fire. What a stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless tucks. Useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance. They'd probably be casualties if you fought her head on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this. But you can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turn to notice a pair of humans have overheard your entire conversation. Oh my goodness. They take off into the castle. Are they headed to the Overlord's room? Fuck. The Overlord will kill you for sure if she found out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon arrive to back you up, except they don't. Instead, they blame the whole thing on you. Aw, poor guy. They cry that it was all your idea and that they were just going with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe they tell the Overlords as a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You are the one who didn't have a choice here. Indeed. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear your traitorous friends mutter something about going back to plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. Then they're gonna be trying to now put the place on fire. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans, and the room bursts into flames. You pound on the door, screaming curses at those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get the chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat. You cry for mercy. You were first forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you sided with her. But the Overlord doesn't hear your plea. She drives her claws into your chest. At least she made it quick. Welp. Interesting. I do wonder how that would be gotten. Like, maybe if she wasn't antisocial at all, so she wouldn't react in such a way. That didn't seem to be playing out in any different way, that he would be heroic. Or not. What if you're not polite? Let's see from his path one more time when we have changed those few things. Yeah, we find the maiden. She seems very frightened and screams for a hero to come save her. You consider your options. Quit yelling. When the maiden realizes you're not going to hurt her, she regains her composure. Now she started talking. But you speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you, because why is there conveniently only one language in the world? If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make sense for them to each have their own language? The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destinies he's trying to fulfill. But yeah, take it to the Overlord. Otherwise the same at the moment, after all. But yeah, we have to be disloyal, otherwise we already die. So let's see how it goes if we have those few things a little bit changed. For the moment it's going exactly the same after all. Humans are liars. Yes, sir. Peace out. Regardless, we'll let this conspiracy have no choice. Crushed beneath my heel. You were forced into this mess. You are sure now that they would have killed you if you'd sided with her, but the Overlord doesn't hear your pleas. She drives the claws into your chest. Okay, nothing seemed to be different in that, even though I did change a few things at least here. But maybe if we go with the hero at this point, when we have the disloyal Grant and all, we will have a little bit of a different situation. We'll see. Because I'm not certain how it will pan out, but here we have to be a coward, otherwise we'll kill all of them already, and that's not gonna be working out. Let's be the diplomatic sword. Ask the maiden what's going on. If we are not heroic, though, I feel like, yeah, we're probably gonna end up badly. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. This proves to you that demons really are foul creatures. We have to tell her about this. You don't understand what the maiden is thinking. The world is better off with less demons. They're all gold, ruthless creatures that should be destroyed. And those same creatures have just noticed you eavesdropping. The maiden takes off into the castle, and you have no choice but to follow. You burst into Overlord's room. The maiden frantically tries to communicate what you just overheard. A demon underling passes in next, calling you liars. It's followed by the crew from the entrance, who shifts the blame back on to the little one. These demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? You begin shouting at them, and the full room dissolves into noise until the Overlord yells for everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence. The Overlord is no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. If you have to cut through everyone here, you get this maiden to safety. You certainly will. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. In an instant, the full room is in flames. What kind of a demonic magic is this? The underling pounds on the door, upset that it's been betrayed. You join it, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. The next moment, the Overlord has taken hold of the underling. It's crying for mercy. She thrusts her claws into her underling's chest, and it lets out a horrible scream. You back away. You won't be the next target of her rage. She continues to dig and twist her claws into its limp body. You can no longer watch. You look to the maiden. She's crying, hands clasped together in prayer. To have faith in a time like this, you envy her. The two of you, the Overlord and the underling's corpse, are all consumed by flames. So nothing would change in that sort of a situation. Resigned hero. Which I kinda understand because, yeah. What if we, so to speak, try to end that, let's have you be polite. Alright. And then you would be... I don't know how it ends if we supposedly try to kill her. We kinda would have done the service to them then already, wouldn't we? Let's see. I have no idea how it ends. Coward, diplomatic, and destroy the Overlord. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil Overlord. She screams, then falls silent. The Overlord has been slain. You smile. And yeah, the maiden follows. And they are all just triumphant hero immediately. Alright, so yeah, that sort of a thing with the heroic doesn't still like really work. Dutiful at least gets rid of a lot of those bad underlings though. But then we basically have to fight. So, but nonetheless, I think that's enough. We played quite a bit. So quite a bit of the... No need for that. So quite a bit of different endings. And hey, it's a cheap little game. If you want to be seeing more of the possible bad theater endings, you can always do that. Or try to get to the one that is good. But I don't think that's necessary for today. So I hope you all a Merry Christmas. And see you with something new some other day. But regardless, hope you have a good day, happy Christmas, happy rest of the year, and see you afterwards. Or, well, I'll try to get some persona. I guess I can do a little bit update too about my situation. I had basically the bachelor's work that I now at least got done, so I don't have to worry about that, so hopefully I have more time to do stuff. My mother situation hasn't been the greatest, at least this now should be a little bit better, so should have more time. And with Persona, I have a lot recorded, it's just that I've been stuck in the fact of wanting to get some stuff a little bit cut out, etc., or sped up, because it's just like I wasted time in, for example, not realizing to open my map or how to use the map in a dungeon, etc., which is silly stuff. So hopefully I'll get that done ASAP and I can upload them, etc. So a little update at the same time. But okay, otherwise, I hope everyone has a great rest of the year and a happy new year too. And I'll see you when I get some more videos done. So thank you very much for watching, and see you then sometime one of the other videos.